Good morning, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and I want to thank you for joining me and the Board of Supervisors for this special occasion to sign our next two-year budget, $8.6 billion each year. It's a huge amount, but this city is worth it, for sure. It is, as I may say, a historic budget at a historic time. And in fact, as I signed this budget, I'm reminded, and I think the supervisors know this as well, that it really is the first time in 6 years that we've had a budget deficit under $100 million. And I know the supervisors feel that personally because we again, as we've done in the past few years, gone to every district and listened to the needs of those districts and made sure that this budget reflected not just citywide values, but our neighborhoods as well. I want to thank Board President David Chu. I want to thank our Budget Chair, Mark Farrell, all the members of our this year's Budget Committee who are standing here, and the entire members of the Board of Supervisors. I want to thank our department heads, many of whom joined us along with the supervisors in each of our neighborhoods. I want to thank the commissioners for your hard work in checking in with your department heads and making sure we're working together to produce this budget. This year's budget reflects a lot of good hard work between city government and the people that we represent and serve. We've met in every district, as I said earlier. We've worked with our city family. We listened to hundreds of community leaders. We listened to the people who actually get the work done, our labor force. Listen to them very carefully as they were a great part of this year's budget. We worked together to negotiate new labor contracts with literally almost all of our city employees. So I want to thank all of our labor leaders who are here today because this is a strong reflection of our investment in you to help us carry out much needed services. I also want to thank all the different elected officials that are here as well. Not only do they represent critical departments, but as elected officials, they also give us a lot of advice well beyond their different divisions to allow us to make sure that we're successful. Together with the board, we've made smart investments in our city, and the budget prioritizes fiscal prudence, which is a keystone to our success in the city. We've increased services directly to our residents with their input. There have been critical investments in transportation, in education, in our social safety net and infrastructure, which is also reflected in the cost of living increases that we deliberately made sure we had done through the budget to our nonprofits that are an incredible part of our service delivery. We made investments in our diverse neighborhoods. We've made fair wage increases to our city employees and historic investments in our housing. You know, I would say this, that I think we all truly believe that the big challenges of our economic crisis are behind us, but we also don't want to deviate with what has gotten here to be the foundation of our fiscal success, and that is the continued commitment to our fiscal responsibilities, to ensure that a budget balances all the needs of our diverse communities across the city, and that we'll continue to invest in our neighborhoods, in our infrastructure, and most importantly, in the people, 100% of all the people in San Francisco. Again, thanks to the board for working together with us to create a budget for all of our residents. In his second year, I want to give a special recognition to Supervisor Mark Farrell for his steadfast leadership and commitment to building this collaborative process. I want to say thanks again to Ben Rosenfield for making sure that not only his capacity as controller, that he keeps us on a due course, and then the people that really help me make sure that I've got all the different issues in hand and respond accordingly. That's, of course, my Chief of Staff, Steve Cava, my Budget Director, Kate Howard, and the entire budget office from both the Controller's Office and the Mayor's Office for their excellent work. Thank you very much. budget wizards, as I call them. But I'd like to take this opportunity to especially invite Board President David Chu for a few words, because I know he's been not only participating, but watching this not only from his own district, but from the entire board. So Board President David Chu, a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of words. First of all, for those of us who were here just a few short years ago, when I first came into office, we had massive budget deficits, billions of dollars that we had to figure out where we were going to find the savings. We were debating whether to close down fire stations. We had the lowest level of police officers in years. We were trying to figure out where to cut in public health and social services. And we all came together. And I want to take a moment, actually, I also want to thank Ben Rosenfield, because in 2009, we passed Proposition A, which for the first time required multi-year financial forecasting, 2-year budgeting. We have the healthiest credit rating our city has had in years. And again, due to the work of our budget wizards. And I also want to congratulate all of us, because in the last couple of months, I think it's fair to say this was likely the easiest budget that we've had to work together to move forward, in part because our economy is healthier, but in large part because we are all working together to figure out what our top priorities are and what we are going to invest in. And let me just close by saying, obviously, there's a tremendous amount of work that happens at the Board of Supervisors. I want to thank everyone's staff. I want to thank all our colleagues, but particularly the Budget Committee and their hard work, led by its fearless leader. And I want to invite up Supervisor Mark Farrell, who has chaired it and now can actually go home to see his kids a little earlier in the evening. Supervisor Farrell.
Thanks, President Chu, and thank you, Mayor Lee, for your leadership. It's pretty amazing. 2 years in a row now, we've passed not only consensus budget out of committee, but at the full Board of Supervisors. You know, when we started this process this year, again, like last year, I think Mayor Lee and I had a commitment to do a number of things. First, to have a very open and transparent process, and that reflected in Mayor Lee's going to every single district to meet with coffees with community leaders. We held another online town hall this year to make sure people that were at their office that couldn't come to City Hall during our committee meetings could have a chance to weigh in. We want to make sure that the budget really protected us for the future, and we were fiscally responsible. You know, it's not really talked about a lot. We're the only city in the United States that has passed pension reform and retiree health care reform at the ballot. It's something we should all be proud of, because we are setting ourselves up well for the future in terms of our fiscal health. We wanted to make sure that we worked with everybody at the Board of Supervisors, again, and all of my colleagues. And I wanted to give a special shout out and debt of gratitude to all of my committee members, to Supervisor John Avalos, to Supervisor Eric Marr, and to Supervisor London Breed and Supervisor Scott Wiener, who put in the countless hours that really made our budget committee tick. And lastly, we wanted to make sure that the budget that we passed was also reflective of the priorities of our entire city. And that's so important for us inside of City Hall. You know, the mayor prioritized so many great things in his budget, whether it be a lot of money towards affordable housing this year, continuing our road repaving budget, making sure we continue to invest in our public safety infrastructure and personnel, critical things that we've done in the budget. And then the Board of Supervisors coming on top of that, spending additional funds in terms of homeless services, food security, so that our seniors and low-income residents don't sit at their homes hungry every single night. Things like that we've done that I think we can all be proud of with this budget. And I do want to say a special thanks to a number of people, first from my staff to Catherine Stephanie, who staffed me on budget again this year. Thank you, Catherine. To the mayor's team, Kate Howard, it is indescribable how valuable Kate is, not only to the mayor's team, but I think to the entire city of San Francisco for all of her hard work, and her entire team. Thank you, Kate, for all that you do. And it was mentioned before, but certainly to the entire Controller's Office, Ben Rosenfield and Monique Zamuda as well. Thank you to both of you. They, again, late nights, they are here past midnight with all of us at all times. Without them, this doesn't happen. And so thank you, Kate, thank you, Ben and Monique and your entire staffs for all that you have done. And then from the board's perspective, obviously, Harvey Rose and Associates and the many people in your staff, Severin, thank you all for all of your hard work. This was Harvey's 40th budget inside of City Hall, believe it or not. So a special thanks, Harvey, for all of your hard work. and certainly to our own city attorney's office, John Givner, who represents the Board of Supervisors and works with us, but all of their hard work throughout this budget process, and certainly to the mayor's other team and staff, Mr. Cava and Jason Elliott and the entire team that has worked really closely with the Board of Supervisors. So thank you all. We're all proud of this budget. 2 years running, we passed it this year, not only early, but on time and passed consensus once again. So proud to be part of it, and thanks everyone for being here.
And let me add my personal thanks to Harvey. At the beginning, when we presented the budget, I asked for collaboration and support, and we got it. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now, this is just a budget document. I know it reflects a lot of what we worked hard at planning for. And what we do outside of this budget document can challenge that very delicate balance. But I have faith that the people who will carry out this budget, most of whom are standing right here, are going to do us proud. So when I ask that not only do we celebrate the budget, but let's celebrate the people who are going to carry out the services here. To the city departments, thank you very much. You're going to make us proud that this budget really reflects all the things that we want to do. Thank you to all the departments that are here this morning. Are we ready to sign? All right, let's do it.
Get in here, you guys. Come on. Don't be shy.
Got up close? Come on.
They're scared.
Yeah, London's going to fight.
All right. Thank you. Now I get to take pictures. And today is July 23rd. There we go. Done.